Guys, Kev here, and I wanted to do a disassembly on the Kizer Mercury here. And I mostly want to do it just to see the inside, show you guys the inside of this beauty. It does not need to be taken apart by any means. Detent's great. The action is buttery. I love it. Honestly, I'm a little afraid to take it apart because I don't want to cause any issues. But I really want to show you guys how cool this is. You can see it's dead centered right now and everything's firing appropriately. So anything that happens here is, of course, on me. So let's take a look at this bad boy. We have, grab my little tool case, or sorry, toolkit here from Tinker Force. And I'll grab the Audacious Concepts driver, drop a T8 in there. We're probably gonna need T6s as well. And this should just come right out. We have a captive pivot, looks like. So right there's your T8 pivot. We're gonna grab the Audacious Concepts V5 for our T6s. And that's gonna be this little guy down here. And I think that might be it. Yep, that's it. So that comes out, it's got a little Loctite on it. And we are going to come apart. Looks like. There we go. So this is the main thing I wanted to show you guys. Well, there's 2 or 3 things, but let's take a look first. The liner here, that is it. That is your lock bar, and that's it for a liner, guys. There is no other liner in here. So for those of you who always go, I wish it was titanium. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. We want everything to be titanium, but like, they would have to have added thickness to this, and then they would have had to have added an insert. It would have made everything thicker, more expensive. When the goal is to have lockup on steel, this basically is an insert, you know. So I find that argument to be silly. I know not all of you are like that, but I used to be that guy. I wanted every liner lock to be a titanium liner lock, and I never really thought about the benefits of using steel in certain situations. So, yeah, but that looks great. The other thing I want to show you is the backspacer. So you can see it's an integrated backspacer. So it's a clamshell construction. So these two halves go together and they form the backspacer. There's not an actual separate piece. There's only 2 pieces to this knife, obviously, plus the hardware and the liner and the clip, but there's 2 scales that go together. There's no backspacer. We are using, it looks like decent bearings on this one. They look to be 5mm 1/16. We're going to do a test here. We'll see if we can put skiffs in. I don't really see the need. The action was good, but if you guys head over to skiffworkshop.com, you'll be able to pick up this bearing test fit card. And I think it's like 10, 15 bucks. You can get them in aluminum in different colors. And essentially they let you figure out what bearings you need if you like to put skiffs in your knives. I highly recommend this set right here. The test fit card and then the finger bit. This guy allows you to work on double-sided pivots or screws that have barrels where they spin. You can really easily lock down a knife like this and then turn with this hand instead of trying to put 2 drivers together. We've all done that and then had it slam together and scratch the shit out of it. So anyway, the finger bit's amazing. Not really applicable here, but this, of course, always is if we're talking about skiffs, and I love it. You can use the code LeftyEDC over at skiffworkshop.com on bearings and knife maintenance stuff, and it'll get you 10% off if you want. Your call on that. Let's check this out. Usually it's going to be a 5mm pivot if we're talking about Kizer. So yep, 5mm pivot. You can see a D shape right there. Looks like that D comes through on this side. Nope, hold on. Let me double check that. Does this rotate? Yes, it does. So the D shape is here, right there. Not my preferred way of doing it, just because if you think about it, let's nerd out a little bit. The blade is riding on this pivot, right? And it's not a complete circle. there's a flat here. So they're doing a good job by having the flat be on a part where the blade doesn't ride. So you can see the blade goes here, it hits the stop pin and stops, right? So it's not really riding on that flat surface, and then it comes through here, again, hits the stop and stops here. So it's not like it's riding back here where that flat is, but still, it's always better. I mean, obviously, it's always riding on the whole thing, but you get my point. To me, it's better to have a full circle there, or in some cases, when they do D-shape, they'll do a D-shape only at the end. Only at the end where it pops into the scale, and then the rest of it is a full circular pivot. I'm a big fan of captive pivots, but, you know, there's always different ways to do it. There's always reasons to do things differently, and the action on this is great, so it's not really a big deal or anything. Now, the bearing size, I'm going to go ahead and guess, is going to be 3/64 ball. So it's going to pop in there, but it's not going to fall through here. See? So it's not falling through our 1 millimeter slot. It is falling through 1/16, but it's also falling through 3/64, which is smaller. So this is a 5 mil 3/64 bearing. Now, I have maybe a couple of those left. Looks like I'm going to have to get a restock on those because Kizer keeps using them on everything. And this is a perfect example of a knife where the choice of bearings actually makes sense. Now, we just checked out the Kizer Huntsman as well, which is another Kizer that was released recently. And that, they also had these bearings in. But that knife is the size of a CKF Evo 2. That made no sense to me. This makes perfect sense. You should put smaller bearings in this knife so you get good action, right? Man, this knife is just cool. The other thing I want to show you is the lockup. So you'll see here, this blade locks up on this tiny little sliver right here. That piece is your lockup. Isn't that crazy? Usually you have a nice chunk of steel there that it locks up on. Now, if you look at any knife, take it apart, you'll see it's only a sliver that really shows the wear of the lockup anyway. But it's kind of crazy to me that this little tiny piece is your lockup. And they have to, you know, they have to machine that or hand file, whatever they do to get that angle right. That's crazy. Knife making is absolutely insane to me. I'm going to go ahead and flip these washers to see if I can get better action with these skiffs. Now I'm using my little magnetic pen here. Let's see, I just want to put it down this way. So what I do is I just pop those little washers out of there, and then I can take it off of my magnet and flip it over and drop it back in. So now I have a fresh side in there. You can get these on Amazon. I link them down below. Any disassembly video I do, I try to put my list of disassembly tools and everything I talk about down there. So if you guys are interested in KPL or super glue or this magnet or that driver or whatever I talk about, it's down there. It might help the channel. It might not. I just try to link it all for you guys. It's all stuff I use. But these are fantastic to have around. I have one in the car, and I keep one in my office, and my kid steals them all the time. She loves magnets. So she's got her dad's jeans, that's for sure. So this goes through this guy. Yeah. All right. So we want to turn it this way. So it's set up there. We got the blade clean. I'm going to get a little alcohol. I'm going to clean out the detent hole. It's always a good thing to do. Again, this is the Kizer Mercury designed by, I believe his name is Alex Berkowitz. Not positive on the first name. I believe this is his first design. And oh my Lord, it is gorgeous. I stand by my statement that this feels like I lost the stop pin. This is what it feels like. It feels like a $700 CNC custom you would get in the US. It really does. I know that's insane to say, but like, look at the milling in here. Just look at the machining. It just has that quality to it, that Grimsmo kind of look to it. That Craig Brown kind of look to it. I know. Blasphemy. This is $139. This is going to be $139. That is bananas to me. Just every once in a while, a knife like this comes along and just blows my socks off. You guys know how that goes with me. And I can't control how I feel. Because, you know, I'm a child. Apparently, can't control how I feel. That was pretty dumb. But I never know that I'm going to fall in love with a knife, right? It just happens. And this one, I just freaking love it. I remember handling it at Blade Show. I met Alex. Again, I'm pretty sure his name is Alex. And I believe he handed me his prototype. And we were talking about it. And, you know, I think I nitpicked a couple of things. But I thought it was really cool. I did not remember it being this mind-blowing. So, you know, it was obviously Blade Show, so there's a lot going on. Plus, they must have made some changes. But, you know, fantastic work on this design. And then, great execution by Kizer. Yeah, Kev, just drop that right on your cut. That's the way to do it. Great execution by Kizer. That's the other thing that needs to be noted here. This is a wonderful design by it could be David, but isn't David Berkowitz like the serial killer? So I apologize if I'm mixing you up with a serial killer there, but you know how it goes sometimes. This is an interesting build. They didn't like click together there. It just kind of was like, hey, tighten me, please. So let's see what happens here. Usually better, especially on a D shape like this, to just close the knife when you're tightening stuff, but hey. So centering is still right on the money. Look at that, right down the line. I can see the line, it's dead on. Everything feels right, so a little alcohol on everything. Clean the oils up off of here. That milling. Now, I do wish they did a couple of color options. I asked Kizer. This is how much I love this knife, by the way, guys. First off, they sent me this to review. So, always keep that in mind. But I hit them up and I was like, hey, how much is this thing? It's amazing, right? I was like, you know, I figured it'd be like $300. $139. And I'm like, holy shit, $139? I was like, what are the other color options? And can you sell me one of each right now? So I can do a video of all the versions when it drops, because it's freaking amazing. And they were like, well, there's no other versions right now. And I was like, damn, I really was expecting a blue and like a plain tie, you know? No play, no rock. Same smooth action, same pop, same drop, and those skiffs are gonna just break in. Oh my God, this thing is sick, dude. This thing is sick. I love it, guys. I love this knife. Okay, so let's just see. I'm gonna loosen it. Take the old pivot out. Tighten it back down. This is my super glue test. Tighten it till tight. Check for centered. No detent lash. No play, no rock. Okay, might have went a little tight there, but again, these skiffs are gonna break in. Feels great. Feels great, actually. Let me grab this and just make sure I don't get any KPL on there. Feel it, Lefty. Oh, yeah. Oh, so good. All right, so now we clean. Now we clean that pivot up. I should have done this right away, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't pop apart. Just take this here screw, or cloth, this here screw, and clean it. It's going to have a bunch of black shit on it and whatnot. Well, that was pretty good, actually. And then I'm going to take this here T6 and put it through the still alcohol portion, and I'm going to clean inside that pivot screw, pivot barrel. Try to get it all cleaned out in there. Nice and clean all around. This is good stuff. Okay, one last test, just because I now have cleaned and pushed things around and I'm just anal like that. Tighten it down. Resistance, centered, detent, no play, action, butter. So now we scratch the pivot screw. We remove it one last time. No, we want our driver on there. Come on. Are you in there or what? What's going on there, buddy? We grab our handy dandy super glue that's pretty much empty and hope we have one more in here. We squeeze and we get a little at the tip, so she said. Spin it around, then we come down a little bit here. And we go for it. Tighten it down. Check for centering. No play. Check that action. Maybe back it off a hair. It's already curing, so I'm just dead centered. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's good. No play. No rock. I think she'll come around. I might have went a little tight. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to... Usually, with enough TLC like this, I can get her to, oops, what was that? I can get her to go my way. Let me just make sure I didn't get any oil in here. Still centered perfectly, still pops, and yeah, she's coming around. All right. Those skips are going to keep breaking in. This knife is a home run. I don't know how else to put this, but all I can tell you guys, I should have checked the tightness on this clip. Luckily, it's tight as shit. All I can tell you guys is when they release this in different colors, I'll buy one. I mean, there's so many cool things I could do with this. Could you imagine a fat carbon version of this or something? Marbled carbon fiber or something, with like blue accents, so like blue pivot and clip. That'd be slick. There's so many options here. It's just gorgeous. I can't wait to see Kizer do more things like this. I hope designers keep pushing them, because this is the best knife Kizer has made. And the way, you know, hold on, let me put away these bearings, because we don't need them no more. This thing is so good that I'm tempted to not pass it around. Like, I usually pass around everything that comes my way that's sent to me by a company, just because I feel like that's a good thing to do for the companies that are being kind enough to send me stuff. But this thing's so good, I just want to keep it. I just want to hold it and fidget with it. and use it. It's got a good blade, and just love it. And I just want to keep feeling like I've got a $600 knife in my pocket. But Kizer makes some good stuff, right? Like I like a lot of stuff they make, and they make some quality stuff, right? They have a good reputation, right? We all know this. But this is by far the best thing that has ever come out of that factory. I mean, this came in the same batch, right? And this is cool, you know, but this has unbelievable detent lash. A little bit of stick. Much looser feel. Still a great knife. Just amazing that these two came out of the same place, right? I'm tempted to take this apart real quick and see if I can fix that detent lash, but I think I'll do that in a separate video here in a second. But anyway, my point is this is amazing. I don't want to take away from anything else, but that is utterly fantastic, and it should be on your radar. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea design-wise, right? Like, I know this blade shape's not going to be for everybody. I've used this quite a bit, by the way, and it's good. Has a hollow grind, shallow, but it's a hollow grind. But it's got a nice sheep's footy blade. Useful blade, right? Good ergos to get up there and use that. It's small and light. It's, you know, it's got that gentleman's carry aspect to it. It's just a beautiful piece. Just a beautiful piece. I can't get over it. So I'm just going to shut up. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Appreciate Kizer for letting me check this out. And hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.